Ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between and beyond, welcome to the 26th episode of Campton Zoo. Yes, you heard me right, Campton Zoo. Quite late, but I decided to change the name of the zoo. It's just one letter, it sounds almost the same, so I don't think people will mind that. But I got kind of annoyed by how many people were just thinking of tampons when they heard the name of this series. Imagine putting hours of work for every single project, sharing the results with people, and hearing, oh my god, I thought it's called Campton Zoo, and that's it. They don't say anything else. It was just supposed to be the city's name that resembled an European city, mostly based on British cities' names, as a lot of them end with that TON bit. So let's just call it Campton Zoo from now on. I updated the name for all previous episodes, yet the commentary will still say tampon, but I don't think anyone really cares. So here goes the quick update, and now let's get back to the episode. Today's project is a bit different from our usual habitats. I mean, we're still building two enclosures for a bunch of animals, but they differ from the other ones. As you know from the title, we're building a petting zoo or mini zoo. There are different names for these areas, but just a habitat for animals which you can interact with. If we were to mod the game, we'd be able to recreate that area with more common animals for these types of enclosures, but thanks to the barnyard pack, we have plenty of them to choose from, and I think it turned out pretty nicely at the end. So the first area will house Alpacas, Alpine Goats, Highland Cattles, Radnor Sheep, Llamas, Sussex chickens and Tamworth pigs. I think instead of regular pigs they often have miniature pigs because these areas attract lots of kids, but I've seen the normal ones in these petting zoos anyway, and I honestly prefer them. I love how coarse their hair is. The building is just a simple hut and there's just a lot of area for them to walk, run or whatever they want to do. The other habitat will become a home for only two species, American Standard Donkey and Przewalski's horse. Again, if we were to mod the game, we wouldn't really have Przewalski's horse here because they are a wild species of a horse, and instead would just put domesticated ones, or what they usually have, which are ponies or miniature horses. Often they're also separate from the rest of the petting zoos, or sometimes even completely closed off, and you can only pet them if they come to you, but you cannot enter the habitat. I decided to let them enter though. There's just one gate instead of three we had in the other enclosure. so there's still lots of space if people don't want to enter but would like to pet a donkey or a horse. And the building is just the continuation of the same structure, so basically it looks the same, it's just adapted for only 2 species. Because these 2 areas are pretty fast and quite boring builds compared to some other projects in the series, I decided to expand this episode with an additional project which I had in mind for a while. It's not an animal habitat, although arguably the most important part of the zoo. Along with the food court and the playground, we're adding the administration area for our staff, as well as the warehouse for important deliveries, and the 3rd building which houses any animals that would require indoor heating houses for colder months, which aren't included in the regular habitats, so for example birds in our aviary or meerkats. The first building consists of several keepers' huts, staff rooms, as well as quarantines, which with the current amount of keepers and habitats, they hopefully will help with the availability of these rooms. The other 2 buildings are just decoration, there's nothing in them because we won't really be using them, so to put the least amount of assets and save some frames, I just left them empty. So I think that's gonna be it for this episode. We're quite close to finishing our zoo, as I think we either have 2 or 3 habitats left. It feels kinda weird to finally be reaching that point of ending the series, but well, a lot of hours were put into this whole save, so I'm real proud of what it looks like. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Would love to hear from you. Maybe you have any ideas for the next Planet Zoo series, so feel free to share them. If you haven't yet, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!